Welcome to the Hollywood Outsider, an award-winning weekly entertainment podcast. In this episode, we're actually having our 2025 TV preview, and then probably a review of Wolfman and a little bit more. But let's get on with the show. My name's Aaron Peterson. Joining me today are my fellow host, John Davenport.
Hey, buddy.
Troy Heinrichs.
TV time. Woo-woo.
And Amanda Sink.
Hello, hello.
And yes, I am remote. I am still remote. I don't think I'm ever going home.
We hope he stays that way.
You never want me to come back
No.
to Illinois? Okay. It's messed up.
You don't want to come back. It's going to be freaking cold this week.
That is true. You know, even here it's like 45. That's still like 40 degrees warmer than home. That's just wild. Just wild. And we've talked about movies. Now we're going to talk about TV. Before we get into all this TV, can we admit, like, we've got too much TV? At what point do we just say, let's go back to 3 channels?
I felt that way for the listeners because I was like, holy crap, we got so much to talk about. They're going to turn off this podcast because it's too long.
It's possible.
I'm really with you about the whole going back to 3 channels because I was expecting so much less than what we got because of the writer strike and all that jazz. I thought we were going to have still be struggling this year, but nope, so much new stuff.
So much stuff. And you know what's funny is, I told you guys I'm working remote. So because when you stay at a hotel, the hotel chain I'm at, when you accept their internet, it's good for like 7 days. So I'm back at the same hotel, and I was waiting until the actual time I set up the internet last week so I could re-up it. Otherwise, it was going to go off during the podcast, which would have been fantastic. You guys would have loved that.
Oh, Aaron's gone again.
Could have been fun.
That's when the show would get completely derailed.
No, I seriously want to go back to 3 channels. I just want to go back. I want it to be done at midnight. I want the Pledge of Allegiance. I want some static. I want to go back
to the Pledge of Allegiance?
Oh, look, youngin'. That's how it used to be.
Yeah,
I'm not that young, okay?
I think you are. I don't think you recall the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes, no. I do.
That's how you knew you were an American.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe it was the Star Spangled Banner.
It was a Star Spangled Banner for one.
Maybe that's what it was. I'm a terrible American. Terrible.
We're not talking about in school, the Pledge of Allegiance. We're talking about when you're going to sleep, you'd fall asleep in front of the TV with the TV on. And the thing that would wake you up at like 11:30 or something would be the Star Spangled Banner and the American flag and all the colors.
Then you got static.
Static, yeah.
It was the snow. The snow is what woke you up because it was like
exactly.
in the home of the brave. What was that?
They're here. All that. All that.
I was recently looking over some articles about TV shows that people have forgotten about, and there's some shows that were wildly popular, but were critically panned. Like I never realized that the Beverly Hillbillies was a show that people hated, or at least the critics hated, but people loved it. Only because they had nothing else to watch.
Your people loved it. I liked Andy Griffith. I was partial to Andy Griffith. I wanted the more logical hillbillies. That's what I was partial to. Barney Fife.
You had to make it like a you versus me thing, didn't you?
No, I'm just trying. It's just trying to have a conversation, but it's cool. You just talk. Go ahead. I'll just back the fuck up. Go ahead.
Well, no,
it's okay. No. Let's just you make your point. Whatever you read in your article, just read it verbatim. Screw it. Just quote the author and go. We'll just make a great entertainment where you just read scripts. That's what we'll do now.
Well, no, I don't even have the article up anymore. I was just commenting on, but I was just commenting the fact that you had to make it about my people, like my people. I said
your people.
Yeah,
I didn't like the Beverly. I didn't like. You know what else I didn't like? Probably something else you liked. I don't know. Pick something. Didn't like that either.
What is even going on?
I don't
anymore?
know. I didn't even say I liked the Beverly Hillbillies. I hated the show, but still, that Andy Griffith can go fish by himself. I don't give a shit.
As we get into this episode, we'll be discussing the things we're looking forward to most coming in 2025 as it relates to TV shows. That's the purpose of this episode. If you didn't know.
You really should be leading this. You really should. So
there we are.
Much better microphone. If we haven't talked, I think we talked about it last week.
Yeah.
By the time you heard this, but yeah, good microphone. Like it. New. It's new, right?
That's because you recommended this exact one.
Just saying.
By the way,
Look
the
how
one
good it
Troy
sounds.
recommended, I got in. So I reach out to Aaron. Hey, I need a new microphone because obviously at that point we all knew I needed a new microphone when I
From
was
the
using.
awards episode. From the
Yes.
awards episode.
So then Aaron tells me, ask Troy, I'm busy. Okay. So I reach out to Troy. Troy tells me.
I said ask Troy because Troy has a degree in something to do with audio. So
As he likes to say. So anyway, so I go to Troy. I get the one from Troy. I do my own test recording because I'm like, let me be on top of this before Aaron gets mad, me testing it the day of. So I test it. I'm like, this sounds really weird, but maybe it's just me. So he and I set up a recording session, and I sound like a chipmunk to him also.
That's pretty bad.
And then there's also like this crazy static. It was a very weird thing. Tried it on 2 different computers, different like brand new
It's just a
cable and
bad
everything.
mic.
Yeah,
Just
it was a
mic.
bad
It
mic.
happens.
So then he's just like, "Yeah, go ahead and get this one. This is the one that I have." I was like, "Why couldn't you have done that in the beginning? Saved.
I was
so
busy.
Much time." Too busy. All you did is
I literally
postpone.
said
You
that.
spent more time afterwards trying to
was
help me
still
correct
busy.
it.
I was still busy.
Whatevs. So anyway, that's the story of how I got this new microphone, and I think it is really good. I like it.
It's a great story. Let's go back to where John's reading articles. Let's do that.
Okay.
All right.
I just love the fact that it was like, wait a minute, I didn't say I was too busy. I just said that Troy has a degree in all this, and then you went back to, no, I was busy. Fuck that.
I was too busy. I was. Troy hasn't said anything. Well, you don't want to chime in on this?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Troy, why don't you talk to us about how your microphone sucks?
My microphone sucks.
The one that you told her to get.
I don't know
No,
why-
it wasn't anything bad that he chose.
No,
it was just
I'm
a bad
just giving him a
microphone.
hard time.
Just a
Yeah,
bad
it was
purchase.
just, yeah.
Well, that was a bad purchase. It was probably a bad mic.
That's what I meant. That's what
That's what
I
we're
meant.
saying.
Yeah.
What the hell, you guys?
Let's talk about TV. There's a lot of new TV shows. You always think like at the beginning of the year, there's not going to be much to talk about, but people forget it's not fall and spring anymore. There's so much TV at all times. We're never without new entertainment. You never get a break. I'm burned out on episodes. That's why I've gone back to movies so much. But then you get a really cool show like American Primeval and things like that have come out. And you're just like, all right, well, one more TV show, and then you're back in the saddle, if you will. So there's a whole bunch of new shows coming out this year that we wanted to talk about. So we each went and kind of picked our own, and up to 5 new shows, most anticipated new shows of 2025 from us. And then we're going to go and talk about some of the returning ones and how they're kind of ending their days for a few shows, and also just returning for more enjoyment. Because once again, we've got a whole ton of television in 2025. So we're each going to throw out our most anticipated new shows and go from there. And I think Troy, the TV guy, the maestro, if you will, he's going to go first.
Ooh, I get to go for. Oh, I'm excited.
Now, keep in mind, as you talk about these, when you're done with one, we discuss. And then we move on to your next one.
Oh, I thought when I was done, I pull a lever and I make money because every one of mine are Apple TV Plus items.
Are you kidding
That
me?
too.
Are you kidding me? This has got to be like a joke at this point, right? Like can't be intentional.
Can we add a cha-ching like sound effect every
Or it
time
can't
he
be-
reads?
It can't be coincidental, right? It can't be. At this point, you just have to admit that you are literally on their payroll
I
to
am
some
on the
degree.
payroll.
All right.
I was really close to having them all Apple TV Plus until Arjan took one and you took one. So I was like, damn it. I have to actually pick something that's a comedy.
Okay. Well, let's go. Let's roll.
All right, here we go. 2025. Number 1 is The Studio, March 26th on Apple TV Plus, from the creative minds behind Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg. The Studio, premiering on Apple TV Plus, is a satirical comedy series that offers an unfiltered look into Hollywood. Rogen stars as a newly appointed boss of an embattled movie studio who will have to walk the line between creating art and fueling business in the capitalist industry. Accompanying Rogen are Catherine O'Hara, Catherine Hahn, Bryan Cranston, Paul Dano, and a cast of others that'll guest on in. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait. This looks so good.
Stacked cast.
This is why they were at the Golden Globes together.
Yes.
This is the show. Okay.
Correct.
They actually, if you didn't see it, the Golden Globes, Catherine O'Hara and Seth Rogen presented an award, and they went on and on about the Canadian awards and like, I don't remember, the Golden Moose or something like that, whatever the hell it was. And it was hysterical. So they already have shown they have a chemistry. So I'm now excited. I didn't know, but that this was a thing. Now I know. Thanks,
Yeah.
Troy.
You bet. Should be right up your alley. I'll get you to watch all the other shows.
Yeah, I'm going to
TV
have
too.
to steal someone else's Apple TV login. Amanda,
I was going to say, I think you have mine.
I need to re-up it.
Okay.
I think it expired or something because I tried to get into watch Shrinking and couldn't do it.
Well, nothing else.
I'm going to
Apple
just
should owe
give
us
you
one
the
by now.
password.
Sorry. Well, Troy, if I use yours, I think that cuts into your royalties, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't like to share.
I
Get
know.
off my lawn.
That's a good one. Good choice.
What about you, Arjan? You want that one? I mean, you're an Apple TV watcher too.
I have it.
Fuck is that? You. I
He has
don't
the-
even know what to
He
say.
has the
What does that
service.
mean?
I don't give a shit about the show.
Oh no! Oh, is that what you meant? Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Let me just check back into reality real quick. Yeah, no, I was really excited when I saw this cast. It does look good. My one speed bump for it is Seth Rogen. I'm kind of like hot and cold when it comes to him. So if I get too much of his laugh, I might be out. But otherwise, it looks good.
I'm a sucker for his laugh. I
Are
gotta
you
say.
serious?
Yes.
He does. Look, I like Seth Rogen. I really do. I think he's a very good writer, and I think he's a funny dude. But he has that kind of laugh that makes people not come back for the second date. You know what I mean? Like he's that kind of laugh.
I feel like it's just like it becomes charming after a while.
No, it becomes
because
pity.
It's so
Nope.
unique.
That's
Nope.
pity.
Yeah.
No.
I feel so sorry for you. If you're going like 5 years in and you're still whatever the hell that is, no, I don't think so.
Poor
This
Seth
is-
Rogen.
I have a terrible laugh too. I understand. I'm empathetic.
Sure. Well, when we're done laughing at Seth Rogen, then we can go ahead and move a couple weeks later to April 11th,
Captain Segway.
where John Hamm is going to be playing a complex anti-hero on Your Friends and Neighbors. Hamm plays Andrew Cooper, aka Coop, a recently divorced former hedge fund manager who's fired in disgrace, living in the wealthy Vestment Village. Coop begins stealing from his neighbors' homes, but ends up uncovering more secrets and danger than he actually bargained for. This one also stars Amanda Peet and Olivia Munn, so I'm sure Arjan will be watching. What do you guys think
What the hell
about
is that supposed to mean?
You just like the ladies, that's all.
I'm more apt to watch it.
You're officially the creeper, is what he's saying.
I was going to say I am not officially the creeper. Number one. Number two, I'm more apt to watch this for John Hamm than I am for those two.
Facts. I can see that 1,000%.
Yeah.
I
John
feel like
Hamm
you've
is
always
awesome.
had a little guy crush on John Hamm.
Yeah, John Hamm is awesome. He's funny. He's charming. He's an incredible actor. He deserves everything that he gets as far as attention. So I'd watch it for him.
Agreed.
He's just great.
He's very good. But Jonathan Tropper, I think is his name. He's one of the writers on this show. And he was also behind Banshee, which I love Banshee. If you've never
so
seen
good.
Oh my God. If you haven't seen it, it's Anthony Starr, Homelander before The Boys. And it's just as down and dirty. And if he's part of that show and he's part of this show, okay, you got me. And John Hamm's, sexy and all that stuff too. Wow.
All right. We're talking about sexy things. We all love a sexy doctor show. And this one's actually already starting on Fox.
Yes, we do.
He just keeps pulling these out of his pocket, kids.
I knew he was going to have this on his list.
And the only reason this one's here is because my good friend Scott Wolf from Party of 5 Days is back on TV. This one's actually already started airing January 7th on Fox. Doc is the name of the show. It follows Dr. Amy Elias. I haven't watched it yet. The chief of internal medicine at Minneapolis' Westside Hospital, who gets into an accident at the beginning of the series and loses the last 8 years worth of her memory. The only person she remembers from the past is her 9-year-old daughter, who is now 17 years old in the present. This stars Molly Parker and Scott Wolf, as I mentioned, and Michael Ecker. It is on Fox, so this is a network show. If you guys remember this thing called network television.
What's that?
I do remember because I did happen to see the premiere. It was right after
Football game, right?
Yeah, after the Packers lost a football game, and kind of an important one. That's why they're not playing anymore. But Molly Parker, great actress. She's been in a ton of things. She was in Deadwood. She was in Goliath. She does a very good job here, and she does a really nice job. If you've seen Goliath, she's really kind of a manipulative asshole, and she kind of starts off the series that way until she gets amnesia and becomes like a better person, I think. So it's interesting. It's an interesting dynamic.
This is on the highly anticipated list for a lot of different, I don't know, organizations or groups out there. So this one, I wonder if it's going to be the new rival.
Anymore.
I wouldn't really call it that.
What is
that doesn't
news?
feel appropriate. Yeah, exactly. But I wonder if it's going to start to rival Grey's Anatomy. If it's that highly anticipated.
I swear, I will give you both $1,000 to not mention Grey's Anatomy for the rest of the year.
Make it 2 when it's a deal.
Nope. Gotta go one.
You gotta go the whole year.
Do we have to split the reward, or is this like an each kind of thing?
It depends on who can do it.
Molly Parker is awesome. She was from I know her from Lost in Space, so I didn't
she was
realize
in
it was
Lost in
her.
Space, too.
And she was great in that. So I might check it out to just see what it's like.
Fantastic. Well, upcoming on Hulu then, which is Fox adjacent previously, the comedy coming this fall, inspired by the 2022 Eli Manning sketch on ESPN, Chad Powers revolves around the story of a hotshot athlete who finds himself at a crossroads and is forced to disguise himself before walking into the Southern football team as a new player. Powell actually plays the lead character in this. He's having a breakout career, bringing his charm and comedic timing to the role. The series is expected to be a breakout comedy hit with hilarious moments and unexpected twists and turns. It also stars Steve Zahn, who was outstanding in season 2 of Silo.
I would watch this for Chad. What the hell's his name?
Glenn Powell.
Glenn Powell.
Glenn Powell.
Chad Powers.
I got Chad Powers
Powell.
and Glenn Powell. I turned them into one person.
Kenny Powers.
Kenny Powers. I would watch Glenn in this in no time flat.
I have none whatsoever.
You don't want to see a guy playing Uncle Rico, but decent?
Mm-mm.
Exactly.
No.
Yep. Pass. But I hope you enjoy it.
Well, something I do enjoy is sandwiches, and the Deli Boys are coming on March 6th to Hulu.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
No,
Your
they're
segues.
so good. And it's cheesy and dead. They're still like
They're
upper
so
level
cheesy.
Tad joke.
Not only is it cheesy, but it's also got seasoning and oil.
Oh
it
my
just tastes
God.
delicious.
Oh.
But,
Do you think these out ahead of time, or is this like spontaneous dad jokes?
on the fly.
I'm proud of you. I'm saying. Yeah.
Jetty
God,
Connor
you guys
Productions.
are old.
Jetty Connor Productions brings an upcoming comedy about two Pakistani American brothers who uncover their father's criminal activities after his death in Deli Boys, coming March 6th to Hulu. The polar opposite brothers are forced into that crime world, promising a unique take on fish out of water story. This has Sagar Shaki and Salif Ali, and they is going to be hilarious, I do believe, and also dramatic at the same time.
I think that actually sounds pretty interesting. I'm fairly certain you pulled a me on those names, but good on you.
Sagar Sheikh and Asif Ali.
It's probably better.
It is better.
Yeah, there you go. No, I'll check it out. Anything that's a little different. We just need more different. That's like the bear with a criminal element. I can get behind that.
Sure, coming out of a deli, absolutely.
Sure. Less yelling.
$1,000 wrapped up in a salami roll, totally.
Yeah, but you only get $1,000 if you don't mention a certain show ever again.
Nice call back. Appreciate that. And that's my 5 for 2025.
Decent list.
Wow. I think there was shade thrown there. She's like, that's not bad. Wait till you see what's coming up next. You know what I mean?
Why did my voice
Because you got
change?
an offer they can't refuse.
This is so terrible.
I know.
Okay, before I make my transition into my 5, I do want to take a second and say that with
You have an honorable mention?
No, the devastating fires in California, if you're looking to donate, because it has been pretty horrendous for a lot of people, you can donate through American Red Cross. You can donate through organizations that will help for those specific counties. United Way is another good organization, but definitely thinking about all the people who've been affected by that.
That's very, very kind. And also, segue out of that, Troy.
So whatever's left of LA, Amanda's going to recommend Suits LA as her first option to watch.
That was a grueling transition. But yeah, Suits LA on NBC.
I can't decide if I should laugh at that. Go ahead.
Probably not. It's
Nope.
probably still too soon.
I didn't. I'm just catching my breath. I'm out of breath.
February 23rd, you can catch at 9 p.m. Eastern time, because yes, this is TV. Ted Black, who's played by Stephen Amell, is a former federal prosecutor from New York, and he's trying to get himself listed as one of the most powerful clients in LA, or trying to represent one of the most powerful clients in LA. So with this crisis point that his firm is at, and in order for him to survive, he has to embrace a role he held in contempt his entire career. A lot of different people that's going to test loyalties, all this other good stuff that's in the description. But all of this is going on while events from years ago slowly unravel that led Ted to leave behind everything and everyone he loved. We will have some reprise roles from the OG Suits. So I know Harvey Specter is going to have a few episodes in here. So I am very much looking forward to seeing what they do with this.
What if this is like a crossover, and at some point he's like, my name's Oliver Queen, and I'm still going to fulfill my father's wish.
But I like on a serious note, I am wondering if everything that's going on, since it sets place in LA, if everything going on in California is going to delay, some of their episodes.
I don't think so, because by the time it airs, it's a month away from when this episode's airing. I think, recency bias. Well, if America's taught you anything, we forget things very quickly. I think they'll be okay to move on. But I could see it being delayed because of that.
You mean like how Congress forgot about the TikTok ban and decided to push it out a few days because people decided to download a Chinese app instead to just stick it to the man?
Yeah. Yeah, like those kind of things.
Yeah.
People forget very quickly. So what I do think is kind of awesome is this shows the power of streaming again, and how, Suits was dead. It was dead in the water. And then it hits Netflix and just has a resurgence, and it creates a whole new show. And I think that's fantastic. I'm fascinated to see what Stephen Amell does. I liked him in Arrow. I've liked him in interviews and things like that. I think he's an engaging personality on his own. So I'm curious as to what he's going to do different for this show, because was it Gabriel? What was his name in the original series? Gabriel Mott?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
The original Suits.
Series.
He had a very, very, very strong charisma and suave persona that I don't know if I could see Amell pulling off based on what he's done before. So I'm hoping he surprises me there.
Gabriel Mocked, I think, is correct in how you say it.
Boom.
Yeah, I agree with you on the whole streaming, bringing this back to life. Like, that's the most interesting to me about this concept. And the fact that it's coming to network and not to Peacock, I think is also a very interesting move. That they're bringing, like we always talked about back in the Blue Sky era, right, on USA. Like, why isn't NBC airing these Blue Sky shows on NBC? Because they're actually really freaking good.
Sure.
And so now we're getting the Blue Sky show on NBC finally, 15 years later.
Well, coming March 4th to Disney Plus, and I can't believe I'm saying that I'm going to watch something there, but Daredevil Born Again is going to be premiering there. Matt Murdock finds himself on a collision course with Wilson Fisk when their past identities begin to emerge. Does look kind of cool, not going to lie to you. So I am interested in seeing what they do with this, what other potential characters they loop into the show. So I'm eager to see. Is anyone else going to watch this show?
I will tell you the truth. I haven't logged in to Disney Plus in months. And I will for this to at least check it out. And not because of Daredevil, though. Because Daredevil is one of my favorite comics, honestly. If you go back in my history, I love the Daredevil comics. I did not love the show. I think a lot of times I felt like they were trying too hard. I do not think they cast a lead very well. But as soon as the Punisher showed up, it became a better show. And because they are bringing him back into that fold, I think the Kingpin's a little cheesy, but I'm curious to see what gets tweaked in the Disney version, so I will definitely check it out. And I'm hoping it's more like the Daredevil I love and less like what I got on Netflix. And I know most people love that version. I wasn't one of them. I thought it was okay.
What are the differences that you refer to?
He's just doubt. Did anybody see the She-Hulk?
A few episodes, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, well, Daredevil shows up on there, and it's much closer to the Daredevil I know, where there's a little bit, and I know some people hate the, it's a little Marvel humor and things like that, but he was just a little zippier, not cheesy or anything like that. He just had more of a sense of self and sense of humor about his own place in life and what he was doing, and also just knew how to take a moment and kind of enjoy it. And I feel like he was constantly dour in the Netflix series. Like it was just a very
very doom and gloom.
Yeah, very doom and gloom. There was just no upbeat to it. And the whole idea of what he's trying to do is, he wants to make his city better. He cares about Hell's Kitchen. He wants to make it a place that's enjoyable to live. And I felt like all he was doing in the show was just waiting to get his ass kicked. It just, I want a little bit more upbeat. I don't want an upbeat show, but I want more upbeat in it.
That's fair.
Okay.
So, Good American Family. I am not sure that I'm excited about the story. I don't know if it's something that I would naturally go to, but I want to support my girl Ellen Pompeo. So, on Hulu, with a date to be determined, a Midwestern couple who adopts what they believe is a little girl with dwarfism as they begin to raise her alongside their 3 biological children, falling into a battle fought in the tabloids, the courtroom, and ultimately their marriage. Seems weird, but it has
sounds
Ellen,
like a true story.
and I want to support her.
Yeah, is it a true story?
I am not certain on that.
I think the big thing here is watching Ellen Pompeo do something other than a show that she was previously on before. It'd be interesting to see what she does to a character and how she brings that character to life. I think that would be the most interesting thing about the show, and then how they handle the dwarfism, and then bring that into, and if they talk about it respectfully and bring light to the topic, I think that would be the biggest thing that the show could actually do for the community. I think that's going to be the big thing here to watch out for, is how do they handle this stuff in a proper way.
The concept sounds interesting, and if they shine a light on a situation that I think most people aren't very familiar with, which is living with dwarfism and what that is, in terms of how that is to grow up with, I think that could be interesting, because I think I'm always up to open my eyes to other people's experiences. So,
and it is based in some respect on the circumstances of Natalia Grace, who is a Ukrainian-born American with dwarfism back in 2003. And then in 2010, she was adopted by an American family, but then abandoned by them 2 years later.
Yep.
The adoptive parents said that she was a legal adult. And then
that's
in
the
2012,
one. Okay.
Yep.
This is a
so you
different
guys know
story.
this
is a different story. I feel different now.
So this was a thing you guys were familiar with.
Because now John and I both know what the story is, and it is not the happy-go-lucky family story.
No, it's not
I thought
a
it was.
happy-go-lucky family story at all.
This shit just got
dark.
Okay, well now I'm even more excited.
Yeah.
Oh, is this something we should cover for Inspired?
Don't read, maybe, but don't read any more into it. Don't read any more into it.
No. It'd be interesting to see if this actually goes along that line, because what you read here is one thing, but the actual true story is so wild.
So much more. So much more.
Wow. Okay. Well, that is, we don't have the date yet, but on Hulu. So, and then coming February 6th on Netflix, Apple Cider Vinegar is the name of the show. Caitlin Dever stars as Belle Gibson in this true scam story about the convicted Australian social media health guru who claimed that she could cure her multiple cancers with alternative medicine treatments. The limited series also stars Aisha Dee from The Bold Type and Alicia Debnam Carey from Fear of the Walking Dead. So excited for this, primarily because of Caitlin Dever. We're big fans here of her and her
big
work.
Fans.
So
huge.
Yes.
Huge.
She's got a big year coming.
Big year.
Yeah. But I feel like she's had a lot of big years.
No, she's got a real big year this year.
Yeah, she's got a
No,
huge
for
year
sure.
coming.
I'm interested in that just because she's in it. She's a great actress. She really is.
Booksmart, Dear Evan Hansen, the movie, which the movie sucked, but she was great in it. That's probably the only reason to watch
Justified.
it. Justified.
Unbreakable. Oh my God. If you haven't seen Unbreakable, she is fantastic in that.
Absolutely. All right, Aaron, it's time for you to give us your top 5.
Is it me? Okay. So I'm going to start with Paradise because just
That's what Sterling K. Brown's voice is.
And also because
Look,
it looks really good.
don't you put your segues on me, son. Don't you do it. All right. It's coming out on January 28th on Hulu, but it is Sterling K. Brown, who is a fantastic, fabulous actor. I love Sterling K. Brown. And he's returning to television in another show created by This Is Us creator Dan Fogelman.
Oh, damn.
So you're hooked, right?
Yep, I'm already in.
This time, the drama is going to take place at the White House when the president, who's played by James Marsden,
Oh, shit.
he's taking a break from playing with Sonic, and he's found dead. Oh, my God.
Oh, no.
And then there's some juicy conspiracies. So this is more of of an
Political
intense political drama, a thriller, if you will. Less, poor me and tears and family. Yeah, and more of, oh, crap, I'm being framed or whatever. So I love these kinds. I love political thrillers. Love them.
It's
I'm
Sterling K. Brown. I'm in.
But it is Dan Fogelman, so I guarantee you'll cry at least once or
Oh,
twice.
100%. Yeah, that's a good
There'll
call.
be crying involved. I'm out.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Those tears will release, dear John.
Got it. You ain't going to get mine. All right. Zero Day. Netflix, February 20th, which means I'm going to have to watch it later because it's the same day as Reacher Season 3. But on Zero Day, it's got an all-star cast with Robert De Niro leading it. And it's another conspiracy thriller that's going to follow the repercussions of a devastating global cyber attack. Now, I have a main job in technology, so I really, really am fascinated whenever they have shows that cover this. And hopefully they get it right because it can be a fantastic representation of what could happen in a cyber attack, or it could be a bunch of guys sitting around in a coffee cafe on their keyboards saying that they're hacking the White House, whatever it is. Apparently, De Niro is going to play a former American president who's tasked with finding the attack's perpetrators. And then you've got people, Joan Allen is in this. I love Joan Allen. She was in The Contender, if you never saw it. Angela Bassett, Jesse Plemons. And then the entire season is directed by Leslie Linka Glatter. So it's just all around something that feels like it's my wheelhouse. What about you guys?
Definitely.
Any interest? Yeah?
I'm thinking about it.
What if it's called One Day? Instead of Zero Day, maybe just One Day.
One day. Yeah.
I'm
That's right.
very interested, and I'm excited to see Robert De Niro come take another role, especially in something TV related. You got Jesse Plemons, which gets me excited as well, Angela Bassett. So I like the casting that's in here a lot, and it sounds like it could be pretty interesting.
I find what interesting about it too is like the concept of Zero Day with the cyber attack. There was actually a really cool B-side type movie called Dragon Day. And it had that same kind of concept where since all of the chips were created by China, there was like a cyber attack and all the technology in the United States flipped to be Chinese technology. And they had to actually like beat the people by like using like typewriters and analog phones and a bunch of stuff. So I'm curious to see like how deep cyber attack this is, like if it's like a foreign power or if it's something else. Like that's what gets me intrigued with stuff like this in modern day.
Like how they're going to combat them this time.
Exactly.
There's also a show called Battlestar Galactica where they kind of do the same thing.
I mean, that's an actual cyber attack.
That's a Cylon attack, dumbass.
It's a robot. It's a cyborg. Yes.
Oh my God.
But they do
All
hack
right.
the resurrection technology system. So
Okay, well, speaking of hacks, no, that's not fair. George R. Martin, I'm sure he's a great writer still. He just hasn't done it in a long time. But A Night of the Seven Kingdoms is coming to HBO Max in summer 2025. And we're waiting for the House of the Dragon to return next year.
We
This
are?
is, yeah, well, some of us are. Not Troy,
Amanda.
but
I
the rest
am.
of us are. I am.
not
I
me.
still will watch it. Well, there's a new prequel to Game of Thrones, and that's set to follow Dunk, who's played by Peter Claffey, and Egg, Dexter Sol Ansel. A Knight and His Squire. And the season's going to consist of 6 episodes, and it's going to be inspired by Martin's novella, Tales of Dunk and Egg.
I really want to see this. And the only reason why I want to see this is because I like the idea, because Game of Thrones follows 150 different people, and you got to keep track of everybody. Same thing with House and Dragon, it's only 50 people instead of 150 people. To follow these two guys, I'm good. I'll live in the world with them for a little bit.
I'm obviously very excited. Anything Game of Thrones related, I want to be part of.
John just wants a solo Game of Thrones. Just like one dude walking around.
Yeah. I want to see the Equalizer Game of Thrones.
But now we're in the six episode realm, so it's like, why isn't this just a movie?
That's a great question. You know what? I am really, truly. If you listen last week, we had a movie extravaganza, right? Where we premiere all the movies that are coming out in 2025. I would love a Game of Thrones movie. I really would. Some spinoff. I would. You know, I don't know. Arya.
I also want a new breakfast shop now called Dunk and Egg to go with my Dunkin' Donuts.
I'm sure HBO is working on it. All right. So this is one of my most anticipated shows of the year next, and that's Black Rabbit on Netflix sometime in 2025. We don't know when. This centers on it's a sibling drama, and the owner of a New York City hotspot, played by Jude Law, and he allows his chaotic brother, who's Jason Bateman, back in his life. He opens the door to some danger that threatens to bring down everything he's built. This is also a Jason Bateman produced show. He's directed several episodes. They actually have Laura Linney directing several episodes. This looks fabulous. I have no doubt this is going to be great.
Yeah, I'm so sold on that. That sounds awesome. With that cast and those people directing, and Jason Bateman back in the director's seat and creating a show. Okay, I'll do that. Ever since The Outsider, okay, I'm in.
He's talented.
All you have to say is Bateman, level. And I'm in.
Yep.
That's why we all watched Carry On, right?
I watched it and I enjoyed it.
Me too.
It was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. I feel like you guys are just trying to wind me up at this point.
We are. Yes, 100%.
Hey,
does anyone have some chips, actually?
I am going to stick any random thing in my ear because I feel like it.
Okay. That's a nod to the movie.
Yeah.
Because nobody got it. Just kidding.
I enjoyed it.
We're just waiting for the one you stole from me that I was going to talk about, but that's fine.
Which one's that?
I didn't steal it from you. I had this on my list because I did my list first.
Uh-huh.
So the movie, I'm sorry, we're talking about TV. The TV show I want to talk about last. I'm pretty stoked about this. And Troy and I knew about this a year and a half ago.
I love that Aaron's the one who stole this or got it first.
It's from series creator John Bokenkamp. Also, the guy who created The Blacklist. We know that guy pretty well. He told us about this a long time ago, and we had to keep it under wraps. So it's really cool. It's really cool that this is finally coming to Apple TV Plus in 2025. There's no official date. I kind of know when it is, but I can't tell you that yet, but it's coming soon. It's called The Last Frontier, and it follows Frank Remnick, played by Jason Clarke, who's a U.S. Marshal in charge of the weathered Barrens of Alaska, as he needs to deal with a prison transport plane crash full of violent inmates inside his jurisdiction.
Ooh.
And of course, if you've watched The Blacklist or you've watched anything Bokenkamp's done before, you know there'll be a little bit of a mythology element to it. And I trust in John. So I think this is going to be a great show.
Put it on your t-shirt.
Troy, what about you?
I trust in John.
I am pleasantly excited for this. I think it's got a cool Air Force One vibe, but the criminals actually crash in the plane, and then you have to go hunt them, and you have no idea what they call it, the triangle, right? Is what they call it in Alaska, where people just go and disappear.
Yep.
So to have to try to find criminals in the triangle, it's a cool plot, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, and I'm a huge fan of Alaska. I've been up there multiple times, so I'm looking forward to seeing what goes on in the show.
Speaking of Alaska, I don't know if we can talk about the cruise or not.
Oh no, not yet. It's not up yet.
I was like, it's a great segue there.
we do have a. Well, maybe you should tell me that it's coming next time. We have a whole cruise coming, and details are coming soon. They might be up by the time you hear this. I'm not sure yet, but check our Facebook group or our social medias, and the details will be there. But we are going to Alaska in 2026.
Woohoo!
All right. Well, speaking of Alaska, my first show on my list is The Pit. So it's on Max. It already
What's
is.
this happened?
The Pit is another medical drama. It stars Noah Wyle as Dr. Michael Robbie Rabinovich, and Noah Wyle is back in an ER, and he is a different character because, and I have to say that specifically because one of the people in charge of ER and also NCIS Los Angeles, one of the showrunners, Scott Gemmell, is a producer for this show. It's very interesting, and I like how intense it can get. It's very much like 24, the medical show. And by 24, I mean like Jack Bauer going around shooting people, and people are shot in this, but not exactly by Noah Wyle. You are seeing every hour of a specific shift in an ER. It's intense. I like it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I like the concept of the 24-hour experience. I think there's something about that TV show originally that just was different on television. So to kind of bring that back, I think that's something TV is missing today. It just gives that extra added intensity to it.
I mean, I don't really watch a lot of medical shows, but I will probably skip it. I do think it's interesting that Sherry Crichton is suing them over this, Michael Crichton's widow, because they basically she said that this is just ER. I mean, it's even got Noah Wyle in it. I think that's interesting. It's really interesting.
So that's one thing that turns me off to it, is the fact that it's Noah Wyle back in a medical show.
True. But, I mean, by all accounts, it's been entertaining. I mean, John said he likes it. I'm not knocking the show itself.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't watch medical shows that much. That's all.
And Noah Wyle is playing a much different kind of character than his character on ER. I even checked in on ER for a couple episodes to see what kind of character he's playing. And it really is, if he is playing the same character or the same kind of character, he has been dragged through so much dirt and junk that it just slides right off of him at this point, as far as like how he's dealing with everything in this hospital. So it's interesting as far as that's concerned. But
for context, I grew up in a hospital. My mom's a nurse, so I was there a lot. So I just don't watch medical shows very often.
Oh, I get it. All right. So my next show.
Well, Amanda didn't chime in.
Oh, I'm
Amanda's
sorry, Amanda.
I got enough medical dramas. Like, I'm going to check out this other one, but if The Pit is good, and that's, I just got to pick and choose because I can't get invested in too many dang shows.
Well, you don't have another 20 years in you?
No, I don't.
Does Noah Wyle have 20 years in him?
Wow. I think Troy just threatened him.
All right, so my next show is Alien Earth. It's FX sometime this summer. As members of the crash recovery crew search for survivors among a wreckage, they encounter mysterious predatory life forms more terrifying than they could ever imagine. With this new threat unlocked, it's basically aliens on Earth. It's very cool as far as what I've seen so far about it. I like the genre and I like this storyline, so I'm in for it. What do you guys think?
More of the question around how many times can I go and run away from aliens at this point? Like I can do it for like a 2-hour movie because you get enough jump scare feature to it, but it's like, how do you do that over a 10 episode television series? And
That's
sustain
fair.
it?
That's fair. I wouldn't say reinvigorated, but I'm interested again in the franchise because of Romulus. I think Romulus did it
Definitely.
with a greatest hits package that worked really well. And if it wasn't Noah Wyle, I probably wouldn't care very much. Or not Noah Wyle.
I was like, what the hell are you talking about?
Noah Hawley.
Literally in the pit of despair.
Guy who did Fargo, right? He did Fargo. He's involved in this, and I think he's a very sharp writer. So there you go.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about alien content in general, so I'll definitely be passing on this one.
Okay. Prime Target, Apple TV Plus on the 22nd of January. We have a Leo Woodall as a postgraduate mathematics genius who finds a pattern in prime numbers that allow him to access any computer in the world. Obviously, it must be stopped. The Ridley Scott produced series also features Quintessa Sindel, Martha Plimpton. I get really excited about this show and a couple other shows like this because there are a bunch of imports from other countries. I like the aspects of seeing all the new environments and places and the storylines that comes from them.
So I feel it's like part foundation, part person of interest, part travelers. Like that's what it feels like to me.
Yeah.
In reading the description.
And there's numbers. You like numbers, so you can, do some maths.
Primes are cool for a certain period of time, and then it's like then you can't figure out how many. They go on forever, but it just gets more complicated the further you go.
Hey, just because you can't count.
I just think Amazon's lost for not having this on their service, but that's just me.
They don't have a lot of we must see this year, do they?
No,
Reacher.
I mean they did put all their money in Reacher. That's they got that going for them.
It's money well spent, sir. Money well spent.
How to Get to Heaven from Belfast is my next show. It's on Netflix. It's sometime this year. This dark comedy follows 3 lifelong friends who reunite over the passing of an old classmate and begin investigating the cause of his death. It's the follow-up to a series, Dairy Girls, which was show ran by Lisa McGee, and that was a pretty popular series.
I don't know anything. I mean, okay.
This one doesn't get me excited.
No,
I'm not
no.
crazy about it. I never watched Dairy Girls.
I went to grab my pillow when you said Dairy Girl. I didn't. Is it about girls that own a farm? I don't understand. Like what's going on with Dairy Girls? I don't know what that is, so I can't speak to
Dairy
that.
Girls is it's a comedy show that takes place in Derry, Ireland.
I'm just saying, not very popular. You said very popular. I think that's somebody else wrote that or something.
It was pretty popular.
It's pretty popular.
In Ireland, maybe. I've never heard of it.
I don't know. I've seen it enough.
Were there cow's milk in this show? Because otherwise, I don't know what's going on here.
Nope.
I don't understand. Was Pennywise there?
No, because when he heard said dairy, I thought that was like that's a different kind of Dairy Girls. I don't know about them.
Oh, just think of it as like a bunch of girls that dress like clowns. They run around and terrorize kids. Now that I would watch.
Oh my gosh.
That's called Yellow Jackets. It's on Showtime.
Right.
Oh my god.
Well, speaking of Pennywise, we have It, Welcome to Derry.
There we go. Now we're back on board. There we go.
It's coming out this year, and it's coming out on Max. They're just not sure when it is. I don't know if I have to tell you much about it, but this is a prequel to the movie It Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, and it's got Bill Skarsgård's coming back for it.
That's amazing.
Dude's like a modern Lon Chaney, man. He's even though I don't love everything he's doing, his Crow movie was fucking terrible. But he's a very good actor, and I'll watch him do that character again.
So this is following like Georgie's parents?
Yeah, and I know it's like 3 seasons, and it goes backwards, the way that I understand it. It's like 3 different periods in time. Oh, the 3 seasons would take place at 3 different periods of time, so that'll be 1 year that this first season is.
Got it. So it's like the 29-year cycle. It's like 3 different versions of that 29-year cycle over
Correct.
the 3. Interesting. I could be down for that.
Yeah, that's why I thought you would want it. That's why I was willing to give it to you earlier today.
Like I was really excited for Castle Rock when Castle Rock came out for that first season, and the first season was really good, and then I just didn't like the second season. So I was like, I'm after 11/22/63, Castle Rock. I was kind of like, it's like in a downward trend for Stephen King TV shows. So I was like,
Sure. The first season set in 1962. The second is 1935.
Okay.
And the third is 1908.
I like this concept. Like this gets me to watch it, that it's going backwards in time versus like starting at the oldest year and coming forward. That's cool.
Kind of filling
That's
in the
different.
gaps from the stuff that they gave us some brief descriptions of, right? And season
like old news
episode 2.
clippings and backstory from when they were in the garage. And
Right.
I like this. This is a cool concept. Do they use de-aging technology though on Skarsgård is the question.
He's just going to be a freaking clown.
Yeah, they don't really need to do any of that.
It's called makeup.
Is this Pennywise like a kid himself?
I don't know. That's what we're going to find out. I'm sure he'll pop up as a human in a human form.
Troy's asking all the questions that, like, when you're watching a movie with someone or you're watching a TV with someone and they're asking you, hey, what's going on? Who is that? And you're like, I don't know. I'm watching the same thing you are. We're working with the same amount of information.
I saw this great thing somewhere where this kid got tired of watching shows with his mom. So he created Microsoft PowerPoints. And so when they're watching TV together, he would sit there with a projector on his lap up over the TV so that whenever something came up on the screen, it would be like, that's Brad Pitt. He was married to Angelina Jolie. They're not divorced. All this other stuff that his mom would ask about so that she wouldn't have to interrupt whatever they're watching.
Well, that sounds genius. One way to keep it quiet.
Sounds like more distractions for him, but
Didn't have a Fire TV to just use
That
X-ray
too.
built in, apparently.
true. Yeah, Amazon's got that.
Anyway,
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. See, that's a lot of TV. That is a ton of TV. That's just new stuff. There's also there's returning shows. So what returning shows are you most excited for in 2025? Is there anything worth mentioning?
Severance is coming to Apple TV Plus
I still
on
haven't-
January 17th.
Gone back to that yet?
It sounds like you need to hurry up and do that because that sounds like a you problem.
Probably won't, but go
Also,
ahead.
Netflix with a date to be determined. Wednesday, season 2. Very excited about that.
Very, very pumped for Wednesday. Hang on, go back to Severance. So isn't that a show that felt like it should just be one season? Or do you
No.
No, not
Okay.
when you get through it.
When you
Just
get to the
asking a
ending, you're
question.
kind of like, holy shit. Give me season 2 now. And then we waited like 8 years.
Yeah.
It's an Apple TV show that's basically about an office program.
It's
to
yeah,
speak.
you get to separate your life, your professional self from your personal self, and your memories don't transfer. It's almost like you have two personalities or lives inside your one being.
It's basically if you had a clone, but it's not a clone.
That's probably why I didn't get into it.
It's really good, though.
It is really good.
No doubt.
And I would highly recommend if we were like some of us that watched it when it originally came out and like blew through it in like a day or 2 days. Like I would probably rewatch it again because you probably forgot a whole bunch of shit.
Yep.
That's what I'm going to do with Wednesday.
January 30th coming to Netflix is The Recruit season 2, if you enjoyed the first season of The Recruit. And another one that I really did not expect to see another season for, since it's been like 4 years now, is 9 Perfect Strangers. So Hulu, again, no date set, but we'll have a follow-up season for 9 Perfect Strangers.
Amazing.
That's great. John, what about you? Anything that you're excited about returning?
It's Night Agent season 2. It's coming out this month on January 23rd. I really loved the first season. I enjoyed it, and I like this guy Gabriel Basso, who's the star of that show. So I'm really happy to see that he's getting more to do with his character in this world. So that's one that I'm really excited about. Last of Us season 2 is also coming out, and I can't wait. I believe Scott and I are in talks about bringing back the show that we do for specifically our Patreon listeners, the half-hour Power Hour, just to sit down and watch this.
You're in talk. What do you got to negotiate?
Which is never a half an hour. And will not be with this show for Last of Us season 2.
45 minutes to 50 minutes for that show. Yeah, that's one. And then finally, the one I'm really excited about is Stranger Things season, final season of Stranger Things. I feel like I've been able to. I'm excited to be able to carry this show from the beginning to the end because I was the first one to see the trailer and be like, yes, I want this show so bad when it was originally announced, and I'm so glad that it's actually knocked it out of the park every season since.
I want to go back to Last of Us because for those of us that have played any of the game, which I think is just Troy, I don't think anybody.
Multiple times.
Yeah. And I'm not going to give anything away because there are several surprises in the second game that are wild.
Why?
And I really hope that one of the bigger ones is held out for season 3. And I know Troy and people that have played know what I'm talking about, but that just feels like it could wait. If you know what I mean.
I think there's a good chunk of the story in the second game that they could do an entire season and
Yeah, absolutely.
bring it up to a certain point and have that be the cliffhanger for season 2.
And you've got a time jump. You got a great time jump where you could fluff some things out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So let's do that.
Let's just
Now-
say Caitlin Deaver again is in this one, and
She
she's
is.
playing a fucking great ass character, and I can't wait for it. She's gonna be so good,
Love it.
so good. I
Now,
haven't seen anything with her though, from like clips or anything. So I'm avoiding all of it, but I'm telling you, she's gonna be so good in this character.
Yeah, people keep sending me clips of the trailer, and I'm like, I'm not watching it, man. I don't. I want to watch the show.
I played
Like,
it 3 times. I don't need to see the trailer.
Yeah,
I'm good.
exactly. Now, going back to Stranger Things, they got a monumental effort, man, to land that plane.
Yeah.
They are on. I would say is probably Game of Thrones is probably the biggest comparison because they are Netflix's one of their biggest shows, if not, I mean, probably next to Squid Game. But they're freaking huge, absolutely huge.
No, it's not going to be easy for them to land this plane. That's for sure. It's going to be they can't make a single misstep on it, or people will be angry.
Yeah, and sadly, I'm going to have to go back and rewatch all of that because there's so much nuance in there, and also it's just a fun show to watch.
Gonna run up the hill again, I guess. Okay.
Oh my god!
Stop it,
Captain Segway. This guy. Okay. So what do I've got to be excited about? Poker Face Season 2 comes out in sometime in 2025. It's not determined yet, but that's Ryan Johnson. He wrote and directed he wrote a lot of Season 1 and then directed a couple episodes. This is where you have Natasha Lyonne as basically a Columbo-esque character who goes around and she can tell when people are lying and she thwarts crimes. I love the first season. I can't wait for the second season. It's literally the only reason I have Peacock. I don't care about that channel at all, except for that show to come back. And honestly, I could probably cancel and just buy it when it comes on Blu-ray like I did the first season. I don't know if anybody else cares about that show, but I love it. Absolutely love it.
I liked the first season. I would probably check out Season 2 and see what if it's too repetitive, then I'll probably get away from it. But
it was on my list to see, so I'll see if I can squeeze it in somehow before the second season drops.
Sure. It's only been 2 years. I'm sure you're going to get right on it.
I got lots of stuff, dude.
So does everybody else. Cobra Kai. We haven't talked about this, but man, the final episodes drop. I haven't watched the most recent 5. I'm holding out to the end. I'm going to watch 10 at once.
I'm telling you, you should watch the 5 now.
I'm not going to. I want to wait, so I watch them all at once. Why do I need to watch them now when I'm like a month away? Or a couple weeks, actually, at this point. But they're coming out February 13th, and they're going to final the season, and I kind of want to spend a whole day doing some Cobra Kai. Yeah. And see how that's another one. I want to see if they can bring this ship home.
More importantly, does it set up the movie for May that we talked about last week?
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be interesting. If they're going to expand, I would love a Johnny Lawrence solo project, like without Daniel-san, because he's honestly
I would agree with that.
He's the most compelling character now, right?
For how they're telling this
100%.
story, yes. I think for how they, like we talked about last week with the Karate Kid Legends, for that story, he doesn't fit in that story.
Right, but I do think he is side by side. Who is more compelling as a character?
Like if I had to pick a TV show for Johnny
or a
Lawrence.
movie. TV show or a movie. Either one.
I'm going to go Johnny.
Oh, yeah.
I would pick Johnny for both projects.
But I say this is Johnny's thing, though. Cobra Kai was the Johnny thing.
Sure.
When you're going back into the lore and the history of Miyagi, like that's a Daniel-san thing for sure.
But wouldn't you like to watch like Johnny Lawrence just in a regular kind of show about his life going forward and how he kind of, I don't know, maybe he doesn't even involve karate. I just love the character and his place in the world at this point.
You'd have to pitch me something because I don't see where he goes other than
I don't know.
Dad.
I love Billy Zabka. Love him.
I think Billy Zabka
let's free him
should
from
just
the
get
franchise and let Billy Zabka do something new.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
I would watch it. Sure. Then we've got You. The final season is coming out this year.
Did you have a list? Because you just like read 2 of mine, but that's fine. Go ahead.
Well, I wrote them down. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, he had his list. It was on there.
Where?
It was on there.
I didn't see it on here.
Well, sorry. This will be the last one. Well, I got to mention Dexter Resurrection. But You, final season, is coming out in 2025. We don't know when. We're finally something's going to happen to this son of a bitch. I hope he finally gets what's coming to him.
You're actually going to get introduced to Joe's new extended family. Griffin Matthews has been cast as the brother of Joe's new wife, Kate. And Anna Camp is going to be playing 2 roles, Kate's identical twin sisters. And they're going to join Madeline Brewer, who's going to be playing a young woman who makes Joe reconsider his new life.
Not sure how I am feeling about the identical sisters thing.
God, I hate twins.
They're not going to be twins to
It's
Kate.
just usually like a cheap ploy for like plot points. And I don't...
It'll be
We'll
fine.
see.
It'll be fine. The question is, will Joe Goldberg and Madeline Brewer's character have any kind of like spark?
The question is, are they going to be able to land that plane? There's a lot of shows coming to an end this year, and that's one that's, I think, gone on too long, if I'm being honest. I think it should have
100%.
ended a couple seasons ago.
Yeah, 4 was interesting though, because season 4 was a different twist.
4 had a twist. 4 had a
Yeah.
good twist. Yeah,
So
we'll
I think
give you that.
Yeah, so I mean, like 3 was like in a really interesting spot where it ended, so I didn't need 4. But then when I saw 4, I was like, okay, this is a different take. I kind of dig it. So now I have to have the conclusion of that kind of story.
My last one is Dexter Resurrection. That's Michael C. Hall coming back. I love him as Dexter. I've been very surprised with Dexter Original Sin on Paramount Plus. I think that is actually surprisingly a great series. I was shocked at how much I've enjoyed it. James Remar is coming back as Harry's dad. David Zayas is coming back as Batista. And Jack
Love
Alcott
this.
is coming back as his son. That's the only, I didn't love the son thing, but Harrison is part of the lore, so he should be there. Yeah, they've had 2 shots at this. Maybe this will be the one where they actually get the ending right. I don't know.
For fuck's sake, could we please try?
It's amazing to me.
Can we please just put a little extra effort into just having a decent ending?
Reminds me of the X-Files. They had a terrible series ending, then they came back, had another terrible series ending. It's like they just don't know how to end it. Maybe you just don't end it. He just goes out and lives his life back at the lumberjack camp.
Seriously. Something.
It's wild. And Troy. Sorry if I stole.
Well, if there's any series out of any of these in its final season that has to land the plane, it's Handmaid's Tale. Yes, we are on the last train to freedom. June and Serena are coming face to face as Canada moves to adopt the Gilead Way, and Commander Lawrence looks to transform it into New Bethlehem. What we've heard is spring on Hulu, so cross your fingers because we've only been waiting like 8,000 years. Bring it now.
I'm a little behind on the show, but are you feeling strong in one direction or another if you think they're actually going to have a solid ending with this show?
I think they're going to have a solid ending. It's going to end on June's face, like every freaking episode.
And you somehow in your mind think this is bigger than Stranger Things or Cobra Kai?
It's definitely bigger than Cobra Kai.
I would agree with that.
I don't think it is.
I think the question is does it still have the staying power that it used to have because they've had so many setbacks on the shooting and the taping and the redoing and the that's been going on with this final season. So they might have lost some steam because it wasn't immediately after the last one on the same schedule. So from that perspective, it might fall off a little bit. But there are people that are dying to see how this happens before it actually happens for real.
Before it happens.
Wow. Okay. That was Troy at thehollywoodoutsider.com. All right, so that's going to do it for the...
I got more. Hold on.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're still talking. Sorry.
Yeah. Because for another one that needs to land, it's Yellow Jackets. That's an airplane joke because they die in a plane crash, kind of.
Is it though?
We don't know. That's the thing, because whatever happened in the woods is what we're trying to figure out. But if the third installment actually does show up on Valentine's Day, so you can literally eat your heart out that your favorite lady soccer team is back.
Jesus Christ. I just can't with you. I can't.
Ashley Lyle, the series co-creator, also did confirm that there will be a bonus episode in between season 2 and season 3 that they're going to drop to whet the appetites before the official season 3 release on February 14th. That is on Showtime. Look at Showtime getting some love.
I don't watch the show, but I've heard that this would have been it's kind of like a Lost thing where it would have been perfect if they ended at season 1.
No, because where I thought it was going to end in season 1, it did not end in season 1, and I was pissed because of it. So they needed to give me the ending they showed me, because like when it starts, it's kind of like they show me something happening when the show very, very starts that they never ever explain in season 1. And then I watched all of season 2 hoping they were going to explain it, and they still haven't explained it. So I need to know what the frick happens in that first scene and why they haven't explained it yet, because that's driving me crazy.
Did you just try to challenge Troy with a Lost comparison on this show? And
no, it's legitimate though. I've heard a lot of people say that, and I have not watched it. I've heard great things about Yellow Jackets.
No,
but it was a great first season. That's all.
It's Alive meets Blair Witch.
Oh shit! I think I'm watching it now.
It's the first season is really, really good. The second season kind of faltered a little bit. So I'm curious.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Maybe I'm not going to watch it now.
It does a weird thing where it's actually about the present day girls and trauma that's happening to them now in their present day because of what happened so many years ago during this event when they were, when the plane crashed in the woods. So it's a real cool juxtaposition of like what happened then and how it affects today. And like
Interesting.
you go back and forth between the two things. So it's definitely worth a watch. It's a little gory in some spots if you can't handle that. And then finally for me, since Aaron took the other two, because I really don't see anything on the format that Aaron had my other two written down. But Andor season 2, probably one of the best shows tied to one of the best non-Skywalker parts of Star Wars, does return on Disney Plus in April. And the way they're going to do this is actually really interesting. They're going to do a 12-episode second season, and it's going to take place over 4 years. So 3 episode groupings for each of those 4 years, with the 4th year being right before the events of Rogue One.
Oh, so you could do a marathon. Just wait till it all ends, and then just watch season 1, 2, and then watch Rogue One.
Exactly.
You might have sold me on Andor, and I've been not really given a shit, but that sounds cool.
It is literally like the start of the rebellion and how the rebellion came to be.
I've heard nothing but great things about the show. I went 2 episodes. I don't like the lead. That's been my problem with that series.
But it's got a great non-Skywalker political backing to it. And
Yeah,
it
I've
shows
heard-
you
I've
different
heard
parts
that,
of the
yeah.
galaxy. I mean, it definitely gives you more depth to the Star Wars universe.
Do you need depth in Star Wars? Like
When you're trying to create a rebellion, yeah.
That's what I want. Slice of meat did. Sorry, it's a terrible Yoda.
Why are you so weird?
I don't know.
Much
Troy
weirdness you
started
have.
it. See? See?
Training you must.
Okay. Well, I think that does it. Yeah?
Yeah.
With TV? Oh my gosh. Done we are. I'm looking forward to that's a lot of TV. That's just what we talked about. That's not including the 47,000 other shows that are just going to pop up on one of these streaming channels we didn't even know was being made. Where's all the money coming from?
Truly.
I still want to know how TV makes. I want to know like the pyramid funnel scheme. like, does advertisers really pay that much money to pay all the workers, all the craftsmen, all the equipment, all the sets, all the how much money is there?
Especially when it's so wild how if people haven't looked at the budgets for some of these things, each one of them is running $100+ million for 8 or 9 episodes, 10 episodes. It's insane to me.
Insane in the membrane.
Exactly. And I'm going to put one more pitch for American Prime Evil on Netflix if you haven't seen it, man. It's a great rock and roll Western, recapturing the old America's.
We almost made the whole episode without an honorable mention, you jackass.
Sorry, buddy. Sorry. Are you done with TV and movies for 2025? Are you ready to get back to a normal episode?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Why not?
Wow. Well, the excitement is palpable, and I'm glad that everybody
It's
stuck
January.
around for that.
Who the hell's excited in January?
That's true. We should just stop podcasting in January and don't start till February.
It's such a gray
Oh,
month.
that's tempting.
Take a whole month off. I'm down.
Yeah, that'd be great. We come back with 6 subscribers. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. And remember, the next time you head to the theater or stream comfortably on your couch watching every goddamn show that, well, apparently there's only 2 network shows. So do they still exist? I don't know. But are they a thing anymore? Is cable a thing?
I'm surprised you didn't talk about Watson on CBS.
Yeah, it's
Me
network.
too. I thought he was
It's
for sure.
network. I know.
Exactly.
Network is below you now. It's beneath
It's not.
you.
I am too good for that. I do like the idea. I saw the trailer for Watson, which is a CBS show. Yeah, but it's basically Sherlock dies and he goes and solves medical crimes. So it's basically House. That's all it is.
Do you guys remember when John used to talk about the quote unquote peasant theater that was beneath him and then his real luxury theater? That's what you sound like right now.
Yeah.
An asshole?
That you said it, not me.
You know that I had to take a Microsoft Excel class because I forgot how to use Excel after I stopped making the spreadsheet.
What is
What?
What?
The TV spreadsheet.
Oh, used to have a spreadsheet. God, that was not.
Oh my god!
That was
I was
the-
like,
that
how
was a
are we
leap.
connecting here?
That was a leap, sir. That was a leap. And people thought this episode was over, and now it definitely is. You killed it. Okay, those guys are out of here. Now it's just a man and I, because we want to talk about Wolfman. How was it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. He's ready with the transitions.
I'm here.
Aaron has seen it. Unfortunately, I had a crazy snowstorm by me, so I did not venture out to go see it yet.
Oh.
But Wolfman follows Blake, Charlotte, and their daughter Ginger, played by Christopher Abbott, Julia Garner, and Matilda Firth, as they return to Blake's father's farm in the mountains of Oregon after he's declared dead years after going missing. Blake and Charlotte are struggling and decide time at the rural farm might be a way to reconnect. Probably not a good idea. This is a horror film, right? And this is a Blumhouse production.
Also true.
Does this meet, let's start here, does this meet the Blumhouse standard?
Oh, absolutely. This is if you didn't know, Blumhouse has a deal with Universal. So they've been kind of like redoing some of their Universal classic monster movies. Remember The Invisible Man, which you loved? Remember? You loved that one?
Yep.
Leigh Whannell also directed and wrote that one, which was a much better movie, I will be honest. But this is, again, one of those where they're redoing and revamping the idea of what the Universal monster is. And so it very much falls into that. It's 100% connected in that respect. It works.
And Leigh Whannell, we love. Big fan of his.
I love Leigh Whannell. I can't praise the director enough. He's one of my favorites to follow. If you've never seen Upgrade, it's a great sci-fi AI tech thriller. He also wrote the original Saw, Insidious. He's been in a ton of him and James Wan are old friends, so to speak. And he decided to go his own way and write and direct his own films. And this is his third directorial effort, I think. I could be wrong on that, but it is his second Blumhouse Universal monster recreation. Oh, and I want to, fun fact, this originally had Ryan Gosling starring in the part.
Wow.
In the lead. Yeah. And then he had to, because of schedule conflicts and strikes and everything, push the schedules back, he had to drop out. That's why he's not the Wolfman.
That's crazy. So when we think about Leigh Whannell, because he is such a fantastic director and really has a knack for horror, he's great at building tension in his films. Do we feel like we still get some of those Whannell characteristics, if you will, in this film? And is that tension built enough to satisfy those who are big fans of werewolves?
Yeah, I think so. How do I put this? So the whole story takes place after they get to the farm, right? So it's about 15 minutes of buildup. There's a preamble where you kind of learn about the relationship between Christopher Abbott and his dad, because his dad is very much trying to teach him how to protect himself and take care of himself. And his dad's very much a hunter. And so you have that relationship when he was a kid. And then it kind of like fast forwards 30 years later, they have a strained relationship. His dad's got missing. He's finally declared dead. Now they're going to the farm and they show like the relationship he has with his daughter and how he really wants to protect her. And once they get to the farm, which is about 15 minutes in, the rest of the movie is over the course of one night. And so it is very much about them surviving throughout the night. And yes, the tension is absolutely there. But Leigh Whannell is doing a much different take on the Wolfman than previous iterations. He isn't triggered by a full moon. This is basically, once you get infected, you are a Wolfman. That is it. Oh. Yeah, that's the situation. And so throughout the course of the night, because he gets kind of mauled during the initial attack, and then the beast is still hunting them, and they escape. They get to a farm, and it's basically, so Charlotte, Julia Garner, has to start contending with, you have an obvious beast outside, and you have one growing indoors. You have one that's starting to manifest. That's where a lot of the tension comes from, and it's actually really cool.
I love that.
Oh, what he does, which I thought was fascinating, was, usually when you get a werewolf transformation scene, which I love in movies, The Howling, American Werewolf in London, they have great transformation scenes, those two movies in particular. It's usually like over 5 minutes, right? It's like a 5 to 10 minute scene, and then that's all you see. This, it's an hour, 45 minutes, or however long the movie is, and about a good 45 minutes of it is his transformation into this werewolf. It's little pieces of it. His sound, the hearing in his ears starts to morph and change and becomes more smell oriented for his senses. His vision is modified. his understanding of who these people are, Charlotte and his daughter, that alters. Like all these little changes as he becomes the werewolf. He starts to, losing teeth and his fingernails coming off and little body horror, that kind of stuff. All of that is like anticipatory and build up and tension. And I think it's really well done. It's a really cool take, in my opinion.
And that kind of takes me into the next question I have for you, because in your written review that's on thehollywoodoutsiders.com, you mentioned that some people may be a little turned off by the effects for the werewolf, but that you in particular had preference for the way that they did it. So talk maybe a little bit about the practical effects that they used and what this character ended up looking like.
Yeah, well, there was not too long ago, there was this leak of a Universal monster on the Studios tour or whatever that was supposed to be what it looked like, and it looked like a methed out like coke dealer or something. I mean, with stringy hair and whatnot, it doesn't look like that, but it is not a traditional werewolf design. It is not. It is much more humanistic, mixed with elements of animals. It's much more in the human body kind of contorting. And it's kind of presented more of this is a horrendous skin infection or body infection, as opposed to a full blown, you become a werewolf and then you become human again. You do not become human again. This is a change that it just is. You can't get out of it. There's no way to solve this problem. And you can't just stick yourself in a cage for 30 days or for a day every 30 days. You can't do that. So it's the idea being that this is trying to kind of give you a visual of a more realistic approach to what that would look like. I loved it. I don't know if I loved it. I really liked it a lot because it's different. It's not what I've seen 100 times before. I love werewolf movies, and I've seen that design 100 times. And love them. I love them. It's probably my favorite kind of fantasy horror movie is a werewolf movie. I just love werewolf movies. It gave me something I haven't seen before. Is it a design that I think most people will like? That's what I'm saying. No, I think most people probably will not like it. And I understand where every one of them are coming from because it is not traditional werewolf. It is more like a wolf man.
Awesome. Well, last thing I want to ask you about,
Sure.
I am a big fan of Julia Garner. She is fantastic.
Love her.
She's such a good actress. For those of you who maybe don't know, she's in Ozark, but everyone should know who she is by now.
You want to stop me? You're going to have to kill
me. I love that scene. Oh, she's so good. Does she have the same, energy level here, or is it more like some of the other recent work she's been doing in drama?
It's not. It's not like Ruth from Ozark.
Yeah,
No,
is she a tame character?
No. What I like about I do think she's one of the strongest actors of her generation. I noted that in my review, and I do believe that. I think she's very talented. She for the first what was interesting about the movie is for the first half of the movie, it really belongs to Christopher Abbott as Blake, like his character, but she's kind of almost in the background. She's almost like the final girl, just running around screaming, trying to stay alive for the first half. And then as he starts to transform and becomes more wolf-like, and he can't react anymore, I mean, the same way, because he's really becoming beholden to his senses and stuff, she takes the center stage. So it's kind of like a handoff. It's almost like a baton being
I love
passed.
that.
Yeah, I really, really dug that. And it also fits the characters because she's kind of become absorbed in her work, and she's kind of pulled away from her own family and stuff, and she hasn't been involved, right? And now she has to be the person in charge of her daughter's survival now, which she just has kind of left to her husband up to this point. And she takes back the center stage. And also you can see, like, even though she's been frustrated with her husband, like, you can see she loves him, and this breaks her heart, what's happening to him. And she's trying to find a way to save him if possible. So she's fighting off monsters. She's trying to save one monster and also protect her daughter all at the same time. So she gets center stage and really gets to be the focus for the second half of the movie, where I think she finally gets to deliver what you know from her.
So if the full price of admission were $10, what did you give Wolfman?
I give it $7. I really enjoyed it. I will say I think you're going to get audiences very split on this one, like to a large degree. I really think the creature design is going to turn a lot of people off. I think people are going to go in wanting a traditional werewolf movie where, it gets bitten, turns into a werewolf, and then, you get the full moon effect where you get build up to what's going to happen on the full moon. And people want that, I think. People have expectations in their minds. This is not that. This is a really kind of compact, different way to tell that story. I still enjoyed it.
Well, go check out Wolfman at your local theater.
Yeah.
And buy popcorn.
Yes, buy popcorn. Please do. Go get that AMC refillable bucket. You're saving $4 a time this year. The bucket was $25 and it's like $6 to refill it at AMC if you can find one at a classic theater. And it's also like $10 if you buy a large bucket on its own. So you're saving $4.
He did the calculation of how much money he saved last year by having this bucket.
Money, son. Money. So let me ask you before we head out of here, have you watched anything new recently? Or that you haven't talked about before that you want to mention? Or no?
I don't think so.
Did you watch Back in Action with Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz on Netflix yet?
I have not, but you liked it, right?
It was fun. It's a fun, zippy family action movie. They're spies, and then they kind of go into hiding for 15 years and come out. Great chemistry with Jamie Foxx. This is the movie where he had his stroke 3 days before the end of filming.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So even if it doesn't appeal, go watch it for Jamie. Just do it. Do it for Fox. You know what I mean? He's funny as hell in this.
Okay. All right. We'll do.
All right. That's going to do it for this episode. Be sure to check out all the things that are coming. There's so many movies that are coming out in the near future. We just did a movie extravaganza, so go back and listen to that episode, and you'll hear a lot of what's coming out. But there's even more than that. The Until Dawn trailer just came out last week. Oh my God! I love this game. Have you ever played the game Until Dawn on PlayStation?
Yes.
It's they have this how it's kind of like a choose your own adventure. You make choices, things happen to your characters. Well, they're doing this so that the characters kind of like get murdered, and then they it almost Groundhog Days them back to the beginning, and they get to make different choices to try and stay alive this time. So they're kind of like working the aesthetic of that in. We didn't talk about that in our movie extravaganza, but I am stoked for that now that I've seen the trailer.
That sounds like a good one.
Yeah. Cool, unique, very cabin in the woods-ish feel, different, little sci-fi bent. Okay, that's it. We're out of here. Thanks for listening. Remember, everybody, the next time you head to a theater or stream all that TV comfortably on your couch, because nobody watches actual networks anymore, buy popcorn. Do you think anybody actually watches networks anymore?
I was just listening to a podcast. Apparently, they do.
Really?
Apparently, yep.
What was it called? The old ass people podcast?
It was called Smartless.
Oh, shit.
And it had Jason Blum talking about this.
Okay, fair enough. Do they have 47 variations of the word bye?
Yes. They definitely incorporated their bye.
All right. Well, I just want to point out, John was doing that long before they were. All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening.
Bye, popcorn.
Ba-dum-bump, ba-dum-bump.